going to take it himself for a championship.
A double play wins it for Frazier.
Turn it to the end zone. What a catch. Makai, touchdown.
Into the layup, goes at the buzzer.
Wins it. The championship.
You are looking live at the Stuart C. Siegel Center on the campus of Virginia Commonwealth University. It's the 6A state championship game featuring the South Lake Seahawks at 25-2 and the Patriot Pioneers at 24-4. We've got a packed house here in Richmond, Virginia. We welcome you to the NFHS Network. I'm Andy Hayes, joined alongside my good friend and colleague Matt Hatfield. The third member of our team, Ed Young, will join us here in a few moments. Coach Hatfield, we call you because you got it all figured out here. What are we looking at in this game? Two teams that met earlier in the season. Now they meet for everything on the line.
Yeah, back on December 19th, right before Christmas, it was Patriot prevailing at home, 83-72. They're not in Oaksville today. They're in Richmond at the Siegel Center. It's their second straight year. They lost last year, if you remember, to Hayfield. It was a 52-41 defensive slugfest. Well, South Lakes, they can get after it defensively. They've got a big-time junior in Jordan Scott. Now, they got outscored by 27 points from the three-point line in that first encounter. Can they neutralize the three balls with Scott and their defense? Patriot has a big-time shooter in Tay Barber. He's headed to Harvard, and also Isaiah Vick inside. They can go inside out. This should be a really neat ball game where you see some chess match moves from two good friends, Mike Desmond of South Lakes and Sherman Rivers of Patriot.
In that game, Patriot won. They shot 68% from the field. They were hot. Can they keep that going here today? We're about to find out. But both teams had successful runs in the postseason here to get to this stage, and something's got to give here today. Let's go ahead and start with our South Lakes starting lineups here, folks. Sorry about that. We'll start with number 1, Solvita. He's a guard, 6'1", junior. Number 4, Tyler Andre, a 6-foot senior guard, joined alongside Brian Kennedy, number 5, who's a 5'10" senior guard as well. Jordan Scott, Matt Hatfield talked about him a moment ago, a 6'5" junior. He can fill it up. Keep an eye on him. He wears number 20. And then rounding out the starting 5, number 44, Aiden Billings, a 6'3" senior.
Certainly Scott's the headliner with offers from Georgetown, Illinois, Michigan State, and so many others. But watch out for Brian Kennedy, a 2-time Concord District Defensive Player of the Year. Tyler Andre stepped up his play during the postseason. Solvita and Aiden Billings sets the screens. He's going to Duquesne for football.
Switching sides, talking about the Pioneers. Number 4, Desmond Hopkins. He's a good one, 6'1" guard, senior. Number 5, Makai Dillard, also a 6'3" guard. Those two are tough to handle in the backcourt, along with Tay Barber, who we mentioned, a 6'5" senior. He's got the size and athleticism. Keep an eye on him heading out to Harvard to go play some ball. Isaiah Vick at 6'7" will be a size mismatch here for the South Lake Seahawks. He's a good one as well. Carter Crumity rounds out the starting 5 at 6'1", just a junior. And those are your starting lineups here today. So with that, Matt, obviously you make predictions every game. This one is a rematch. How do you have it going?
I've got it 68-67 in overtime for Patriot. Now, Coach Young, who will bring in, has South Lakes taking it 65-60. So somebody's going to be right, somebody's going to be wrong. That's the beauty of basketball, right?
Let's go to the keys to the game here. Matt Hatfield, let's talk about what both sides need to do to be successful. We'll start with South Lakes.
Well, for them, it's balanced scoring. They know Jordan Scott can score it. He had a big game, 28 points, 14 in the fourth quarter. They need others to score it around him. Don't rely on Jordan to do all the scoring. Perimeter defense for the Seahawks. They have to take away that three-point line, not let the Pioneers shoot it at a 67% clip from deep and do better themselves than the 3 of 19 and create turnovers. Get some easy baskets off your defense. They have players that can do that, especially Kennedy getting after the ball handlers. For Patriot, avoid that shooting drought. Remember, last year just 1 of 12 from 3 in this game, 0 for 8 after halftime. Don't have that dry spell in this type of ball game. Slow the great Scott because he can dominate a ball game. And then second chance points. Remember, last year, offensive rebounds did not come their way. They have Isaiah Vick inside. He can be a matchup problem. Hit the glass.
Just about ready for the tip for the Class 6 Boys State Championship here. And we almost ready to go. We're underway. Here we go. Hope you sit back, get some popcorn, and enjoy this one. It's going to be a great game. Patriot controls the tip here to start things off. Third member of our broadcast team, Ed Young, the coach from Dansman River, joins us here. Coach, your thoughts after watching these two warm up?
I'm still sticking with South Lakes. First of all, good afternoon, gentlemen. Great to be back with you guys. And I'm sticking with South Lakes. I know it should be a battle, and I think could be last possession wins.
Makai Dillard with the first bucket in this one for Patriot. Here's a three-point shot, a little bit short. That one from Jordan Scott. Rebound to the Pioneers. Jumper, middle lane, good. Carter Crumity.
He's not a highlight down the scouting report, but as we found out over the years in championship games, doesn't matter. You come out here and bring it, lay it on the line, you can make yourself a name in this setting.
And we saw that last night with the Northside Vikings, guys that weren't expected to play much, come in, knock a couple threes down, a couple big buckets, and the next thing you know, they win by double digits. Here's a nice pass underneath, followed from Scott, off of the miss from Hopkins. Check that, sorry about that, off the miss from Tyler Andre.
How about the bloodlines of Scott? His dad, Jerome, played at Miami. Christy Winter Scott was a heck of a player at Maryland. She actually led Andy and Ed, the South Lakes girls, to an undefeated season in 1986. So the bloodlines continue. We talked about Cy Hardy last night from Northside. Jordan Scott's going to be one to watch for years to come.
Tell you what, he would have trouble in one-on-one with his parents because they both can really go. There'd be a lot of arguments in that house.
I bet he has some stories of playing horse in the backyard or around the world, and mom and dad wouldn't let him win ever. I promise, right? Competition. He's had a great year.
It breeds success, no doubt about it. It's a tough matchup for Desmond Hopkins. He's the point guard having to battle Jordan Scott, who's between whatever your measurement is, 6'5", and he's going to be probably 6'8" when he's done growing if he gets to that point. He's just a long-limbed wing that can play inside out, Ed.
Yeah, he's definitely got that. He's not a back-to-the-basket player. A lot of the top ones nowadays aren't, but he's got to be able to do something inside. I'm a firm believer. You got some size. Get inside, do something with a move or two, you can score a lot more.
And he's looking to so far.
Here's Scott from the corner. Good rotation. He's got it. Three-pointer good. Can't leave him open.
And see, that's the thing. If you start him in the post and then you run him out, somebody's got to chase him to cover him.
That's why you got the Hoyas and the Knowles and Tom Izzo and the Spartans trying to get him to come play for them.
And he's only a junior.
There's going to be a lot more.
Yes.
Got to put on a little bit more muscle, and that'll happen.
Good defense from Billings inside, making him give up the rock, and Dillard.
A little bit of a grab there, looked like by Tyler Andre, talking to athletic director Andrew Dugan, who has been a basketball coach for many, many years in his day. He said, keep an eye on Tyler. He's a spark plug for this team. Kind of scrappy.
It's funny, he was actually texting me on the way up here too as well. Coach Doug, we miss him on the sidelines. He does a great job over at South Lakes. One of the things about Tyler Andre is they had a loss or a close win, I forget when it was, earlier in the season, and he got after his guys, all his teammates. He's kind of that coach on the floor for Mike Desmond over there.
Andrew Duggan came up to me before the game and said he remembers him and our teams played in the same tournament down in North Carolina.
How about that? We're going to work inside.
Great job
Big
on
fella.
the rebound by Billings. Puts it back up and in. Coach Duggan did a great job back in the day as an assistant at Chantilly with Jim Smith. Took over South Lakes. It's great to see him before the game today.
And Billings going to Duquesne for football. That's a key offensive rebound to keep this possession going for Patriot. They've hit a dry spell.
Good steal. Here's Vida trying to get to it. Hard contact underneath the basket. Hope everybody's okay there. Looked like Vic was shaking up for a second.
Now, we've talked about Isaiah Vick before. You see, he's got some upside to him. His dad, Dwight, in the stands, former Hampton Crabber, former Hokie, and the last year getting on this floor, I think they want to make him more of a focal point in this game, even though Tay Barber is their go-to guy offensively with 175 made threes in his high school career. How about that? At 175 threes in a high school career for Tay Barber, who's going to Harvard. Pretty smart, too, obviously.
Yeah, you're going to Harvard. You're probably going to run a law firm or something, so that's not for schools like you.
I'm just trying to spell it.
By the way, I won. I had it. It was only going to be 3 minutes into the game before Coach Young got a jab in there.
And he had to get back at me because when Demetrius earlier referenced, the shooting out of one of the girls, I said that's like him in the hospitality room with us when the food comes out. He just, he's got to be first.
These two guys host a weekly podcast. You got to tune in. The best down in the 757, but now you can listen to it anywhere.
He can't spell Spotify, though. He was trying to do it earlier. We were putting him on a spelling bee test. That's not his forte. Now, look at this shot for Patriot. They're living on the three ball right now, which I think, Ed, is a dangerous move against the South Lakes team with the way they defend.
Yeah, if you're gonna live with threes, you gotta make more than the proverbial 33% 1 out of 3, or you better be a great offensive rebounding team and get second chances, or you're going to be running play defense all night.
Well, we went to the second chance points as one of the 3 keys in this game.
Drive left side of the lane. Left hand almost fell there for Barber. He gets fouled to go to the line for 2 shots as we take a look here. Good call, some contact, but not bad defense either there.
No. He's fitted nicely. Remember, he played the last 3 seasons at Osborne, comes over to play at Patriot, and I think he's sacrificed some of his scoring. It's down to about 20 a game after putting up 24.6 per contest. And at the free throw line, he is money there, about 88% on the year. So if he can maximize those attempts today, though he is a 3-point threat, I think it'll slow the game down and get Patriot better chances to get the lead and possibly expand the lead.
Second free throw from Barber. This one good as well. Production crew today led by our producer Helene Shane along with associate producer Tim Plank. Ryan DeGurda up on the top camera. Jack Lowe down on the court. There's Rochester going hard to the basket, and he'll be fouled at 6'8". He's going to be a guy that causes some matchup problems as well.
Yeah, he's going to Brown, and you see just his size. He's actually accepted a new role. He was hurt for part of the season, guys. Now coming off the bench, he could easily be their second leading scorer, but he doesn't mind that. He's doing more of the dirty work things for Coach Desmond, and I think that's helped this team start to realize its potential more and more.
Again, guys that know roles, sacrifice a little bit, and know the role and play to it, usually can find their way here. Guys that are selfish and just want to score points, usually you'll never see this floor.
It's been a good response. They were down 4-0, now up 8-6 with 4:28 to go in the opening quarter. You make it here 9-6 with the free throw. So they've settled in after that little bit of a slow start. They're not having the spooks, if you will, their first time in the Siegel Center.
Yeah, there's a lot of aggressiveness both ways. That feeling out period, we see some teams kind of tepid when they come out. These guys were very aggressive.
Three-pointer from the edge. Oh, in and out. That one looked good there from Abe Halem. I don't know how it came out.
And he puts up 7 per game. They need him to be that complementary scoring threat to go with Barber and Vick.
Good matchup defensively there for Barber up against Scott. 2 future college players going at it. Both teams starting to substitute a little bit. Crumedy sitting down there for the Pioneers. Catching a breather. Long pass, entry pass to Scott. Had the mismatch on Ryan Keenan, and he puts it up and in.
And so, yeah, that's where they have to have more help come over quicker on that catch. When he gets it, Isaiah Vick's going to have to rotate over and make it a double team or not let that be such an easy land for Jordan.
Okay, Scott did a great job of sealing his man inside. Showed where he wanted the ball. Perfect pass.
Foul underneath the basket by Keenan. And Brian Kennedy is going to go to the line here for a couple free throws.
Multi-sport standout guys in football and basketball. Brian Kennedy had 14 of his 18 points in the first half in the state semis versus Hayfield. Now we got a timeout here as the Seahawks try to build this 5-point lead up even more.
There used to be a great football player at Westfield High School by the name of Brian Kennedy back in the day.
Well, and this is a team now that I think when you hear Jordan Scott getting all this attention recruiting-wise, you say it's the Jordan Scott show. But he plays such an unselfish game with a high basketball IQ that he doesn't mind it. In some ways, Andy, it reminds me, it takes me back, I brought this comparison to you yesterday, that this game could shape up to be like Westfield Colonial Forge. You remember the name Marco Haskins for Colonial Forge?
Yes.
2-time state player of the year. Haskins would have games where he'd get 28 or get 12. Bottom line was all that mattered, they won. And he's doing that for them as they try to get a championship.
And I'll throw another name on there. How about Tyler Scanlon?
Oh, well, he was the ultimate winner. He did multiple sports, like we talk about with Kennedy at Westfield, football, basketball, and he was the ultimate gamer, competitor. And remember, they lost that heartbreaker, came back the next year, and blew away Oscar Smith in the final with him and Blake Francis. So Patriot trying to do a little bit of that, where they lost the championship, won. We talked about it in the Terry Sasiski media room in between the last game and this one, that you've had not only repeat champions like John Marshall and Lancaster and Northside, but you've had teams that were runner-up like Eastside girls, Manchester girls, come back and get here and redeem themselves.
Second free throw a little short. So 1 of 2, almost a travel back there by Barber. Gets it up to Vick. He'll take the shot. That one a little bit off. Rochester's got the rebound. And an offensive foul called on James Schunke. That will give it back here to Patriot. And a good call.
When your best player, Ed, takes a charge like Tay Barber, it makes the whole rest of the team say they got to do the same thing, right?
He did a smart job of keeping his stance, because obviously there was a movement on the offense to try to get around him. He just stood there and prevented that blocking call. You got to be stationary in terms of, not necessarily stationary, but shoulder to shoulder to the offensive person to draw that charge.
When he knew coming to Patriot, he can't just be an offensive player. He's going to have to play some defense, especially in this setting.
Ooh. Merrick Grillstone checked it. Let me see here. I he checked in. Yep, he did check in. Merrick Grillstone checked in. We don't have a size on him. He's a tall kid, though. Matt, 10th grader.
About 6'6", sophomore.
Yep, into the game. Seahawks have some real height on this roster.
Well, they're utilizing it both inside and out. Around the hoop, they're using it, and then away from it, making Patriots bigger guys have to come out and check them.
Double team on Scott. Somebody's open. Grillstone will get it back out top to Kennedy. Kennedy underneath. Grillstone lost it, tried to throw it off the feet of a Pioneer. Couldn't do it. Here's Barber. He loses it. Kennedy knocks it away. Back to Scott, and he's got the lay-in and the foul.
He is so fluid, Jordan Scott, sensing what's at stake today and knowing that this is where the big-time players play big-time games in the state championship. Gives them a chance to push this to 9.
I'll tell you what, they're in the right spots on defense. Getting their hands on turnovers and converting turnovers into points is the key, because that's nothing more devastating to the team that's behind.
Free throw good. And it's 15-6. South Lakes as we approach 2 minutes left here in the opening frame.
Much different start to this game than December 19th, and I think both coaches acknowledged that this week. We were listening to them speak earlier in the week on a podcast, in fact, Ed, that, you know, Coach Desmond, Coach Rivers knows that a lot's changed when you play a team, whatever team it is, and you meet them in a state tournament in December and it's March. Your team could have a player that's been added, an injury, different starting lineup, and I think that's the case with South Lakes, especially with how they're using David Rochester, who was new to the team this year.
Yeah, it's hard to compare when you play somebody early in the season, you play later. It's good to have a little bit of film with it from earlier with it, but if the players change, roster change, maybe somebody's different, and then the degree of how much they improve. So it's almost like a whole nother game, but yes, you wouldn't mind playing somebody that you kind of know.
First free throw good.
Okay, we got a discrepancy on who the foul is on.
That's what it looks like as the official goes over to the...
Back to your point for a second, Matt. I mean, every coach desires to have what they call an evolving program, right? So you started at XYZ point at the beginning of the year. By the end of the year, you shouldn't look anything the same. You should be way better.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And if your mindset's that way, it's a growth mindset every day. And so I was talking to Coach, Doug in here before the game. He was talking about how much better this team has played throughout the season. And that's what you want to see. You mentioned Rochester. All of a sudden he becomes an impact guy. He's improved a ton, right? So those are deals that every coach is hoping for. It doesn't always play out that way, right, Coach Young? Sometimes they don't make the marked improvement that you want. But if they do, you got a shot at the end of the year.
Right. That's the whole idea. You got to get better as an individual for the team to increase. In the preseason, you get better as individuals. During the season, you have to get your team better. Sometimes people don't understand what that means. Well, you're game planning 5-on-5, so the individuals got to keep getting better and better.
And as they check the book, too, to add up or follow that point, Ed, I think there's preseason expectations for so many teams. Both we had rankings on Virginia Preps of that class. 6 top 10, 1 for South Lakes, Patriot 2. South Lakes took an early blemish, but I think they learned from that. And then, all the expectations, prognostications, they go out the window. You just go out there and play basketball and, like you said, maximize your potential. How are you different from when you started? How are you growing? All about progress.
Yes, especially when you start the year with a younger team.
So I think they're still checking this out with the book here.
I think the discrepancy was either who was the foul on.
Coach Desmond very peaceful right now. He's not too upset about what he's getting told from the officials. Sherman Rivers trying to get his team fired up as they're behind right now. Looks like our score is, they changed on the board to 13-7 for the moment in favor of South Lakes with 2 minutes showing even on the clock. We'll see if that is indeed the case.
So the scoreboard in the Siegel Center was wrong. It looks like anyways. We said it wrong. I mean, we're following it just like everybody else back home. Our associate producer, Tim Blank, is following it in-house, right? So what they're basically doing here is trying to get it fixed.
Well, now it says 13-6. And we
15.
Now it's 15.
Okay, now we're back.
Now we're can I get a couple more
Look,
points?
anybody that makes fun of the older folk here about having the paper in front of them and the pen, somebody behind the scenes is keeping that on a piece of paper.
No
right?
question, no question. And we're fortunate enough we get the official stats thanks to the great people at the VHSL that supply it to us with the computerized printout. So
I always say that because my kids are always like, "Why are you doing that, Dad? Why are you writing that stuff down? Just
that's how you were trained, right?
Put
From
it on
the
your
very
phone,
beginning.
man."
Yeah.
Old school. Billings on the rebound, muscling his way for that one. Here's Scott. Now Kennedy to Andre for three, no good. Grillstone fighting underneath the basket, and it's picked up by Vic. Here's Halim to the baseline, off the glass, pretty touch there.
I think he went on an and one call. He didn't get it, and Sherman Rivers putting his hand up too, getting a little frustrated about it.
Kennedy, jumper in the lane, a little bit off. Pioneers with a chance for a little run here. Here's Barber going to the basket, trying to go up and under, couldn't do it.
To where the length of Scott got in the way with that up and under move.
Not enough muscle on that.
Grillstone has it knocked away. It'll stay with South Lakes. Checking into the game, Tashiki Elston, who's a junior. He wears number 12. He'll relieve Grillstone.
I know Ed's a big proponent of offense, defense sub, and you liking how both teams are going deep into their bench here to get them comfortable at this setting at the championship round?
If you're planning on using them later, you better use them early. I don't mind that.
Shot from the left edge, no good. Billings on the rebound. That was Halim's three-point try.
Play for one.
That's what Kennedy's thinking right here for sure, but they better get a shot up quickly.
Yeah.
Throws it up, almost. At the end of one, South Lakes leading 15-8. We head to quarter number 2 next on the NFHS network. You're watching the VHSL State Championships. We'll be back right after this.
High school sports fans, relive your favorite moments. Just click the shopping cart below the video player to get your digital copy today.
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field.
And back here at the Siegel Center. Quarter number 2 set to begin here. Andy Hayes, Matt Hatfield, and Coach Ed Young. Matt, you got an explanation from the official, which was awesome. Yeah, about what the delay was there. What was he saying?
We appreciate him coming over to tell us. Well, they said they had 5 fouls for red, which was Patriot. It was a correctable error, and it was actually 4 fouls. So they were getting that straight on the board, and we're ready with second quarter action where Tay Barber's going right to the rack for 2 to slice the deficit down from 7 to 5 at 15-10.
So they had attributed too many fouls, right, to Patriot.
Yeah, because 5 you get to shoot, so they had to not let him shoot because it went down to 4. You shoot on. Nowadays it's 5 fouls in a quarter. You go automatic 2 shots.
That changes the complexion in a lot of ways too, because it's 1 less foul for an individual, 1 less team foul, and big key now for Patriot is to get Jordan Scott, in check at bay, because he's gotten off to a sizzling start for the Seahawks.
Well, he hasn't touched the ball the last 2 times down. Make that 3, but Brian Kenny knocks down the turnaround, Jay. Quick timeout.
17-10. It's a 30-second. We'll keep it right here. Say hello to all the folks out of Northern Virginia watching this game that couldn't make it here today. Rainy weather outside, but what better day to sit in the basement, put this thing up on your big screen TV, and sit back and listen to Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young go back and forth. It's always quality entertainment.
I tell you what.
I'm just playing referee here, guys.
If people are back at home, if they realize what I've been through, they would understand. But it is, we appreciate them all joining in on the network. Like you say, Andy, you always tell them to get popcorn. I'm a little bit more, get that sub, get your favorite brew, get a little bit of wings on the side.
I had to deal with that last night, him trying to find a sub joint. And then secondly, you talk about what he had to deal with, just him getting here today with me was
oh
the
my
big
God,
thing.
I didn't want to go over it. No.
But Scott, how about this, guys? He had 14 in the fourth quarter. The last meeting, he had 10 in the first quarter here. So the last 2 quarters against Patriot, he's got 24 total points. But Patriot needs someone to help out Tay Barber. Isaiah Vick is that main guy that can really get revved up and do so.
Jumping from the baseline, no good. Good job boxing out.
Well, what I'm noticing, gentlemen, is Patriots 1 pass and a shot. South Lex is usually 2, 3, 4 passes, a little bit more methodical in their offense, which right now is working for its 17-10 lead.
Drive to the right, trying to go up against
Nice block.
Vick.
Nice block.
Nice block. Vito was thinking he could get up there with him, but Vick wasn't worried at all. Knocked it backwards.
And to that point, Ed, just 1 assist in that first quarter for Patriot, which was by Carter Crumity, who had that early bucket.
Yeah, they're a little bit more anxious to get a pass in and a shot. Here we're going to get a drive and foul from behind. Not a charge. He got fouled first.
Desmond Hopkins is an interesting young man for this Patriot team, Andy. Last year he played more of a 2-guard role, if you remember, next to Nasir Coleman, who graduated. Now Hopkins, first team all-region performer for him to go with Vick and Barber. He can score it, he can dish it, and he's one right now that has to settle them in a lot of ways, similar to what Brian Kennedy's done for South Lakes with the onus going off of Jordan Scott, who's now off the floor for the Seahawks.
Free throw good.
Yeah, they've got to get some points other than Trey Barber. Trey Barber is struggling right now with 0 for 4 from the floor, and that's their main scorer.
On the floor here, foul called. That one's going to go against number 24, Carter Crumity. I'll tell you what, it'd be great if the officials would come over to us and explain every single time. That might be the first time that's happened.
Be awesome, yeah.
Right?
Yep, I definitely can use that.
And he said to you, he came up to you and said, did you get all that? And you were like, no.
Let us know. We'll take it.
We'll take whatever we get.
Trust me, when I'm doing Old Dominion games and they don't come over to me, I get very upset when you have no idea what the call is across the way. More deliberate right now, the Seahawks.
Tyler Andre, fouled on the floor, they say, before he got around. So the basket, no good.
No continuation in this.
But they're finding some matchups where they can really go to the hoop off the bounce. And South Lakes is really stretching out this Patriot defense, which has to clog the lane a little bit better.
That's my point. They're doing what I call probing the defense to try to see where the best matchup to take it to the hole. Patriots coming down 1 pass and then looking for the quick shot. Not necessarily the best shot, it's just the quickest shot.
Drive, no good. Rochester's got the follow. Beautiful play.
That's what
a 6'8" senior David Rochester.
That's what height and long arms will do for you. Pull that rebound before it hit the ground and put it right back up all in one motion.
Oh, 3-point shot, no good, but a foul, and we'll get 3 free throws coming up here. I'll give David Rochester a compliment here. He's a quick twitch muscle guy, Coach. You notice that about him.
Yes.
I mean, he's got that quick twitch in him that you can see why, at his size, that he's been a recruited guy. And we'll go play some college basketball. He's got that quickness.
And I tell you what, tailor-made for the Ivy League. He is tailor-made for the Ivy League. He's not a big body, big muscle type kid, but for the Ivy League, what he does, he'll fit in really well.
So much really meticulous motion in that league, as you know, as that was the cardinal sin committed by one of his teammates on that 3-point shot. Now allowing Hopkins to get going here. Now you look at it, South Lakes has controlled the flow this first half. It's a 2-possession game. He makes all 3 of these.
Right.
It's one of my rules. You foul a jump shooter, you're coming out. You're coming out. And, of course, the kid will come out and say, I never touched him. I said, well, you're going to touch the bench right now.
I kind of like walking the first 2 or 3 batters for me as a baseball coach. Okay, we're done. Have a good day.
Yep. Time for a change.
Look at this matchup. Vic on Scott.
How about that body control right there by Scott? Wow.
Froze him on a move. I'm going to say that was his mom's move in school.
Not giving it to Jerome?
No, I'm getting it to Jerome. Jerome was all the way to the hoop. Mom had that quick free step and make you skate.
That hurt my ACL watching that right there. I don't know how he did it. Good steal from Kennedy. Here's Andre for 3. No. And it's kicked back out by Rochester. Now Scott will fire it up. No. Another rebound here for Patriot. And that was Dillard. I don't know that I've seen a more perfect rotation on a shot than I have from Jordan Scott. I mean, the spin on that ball is pure. I'd love to see that, Coach Young. When you see that.
Yes. Kids got to understand what does rotation do to a shot. When that ball hits the rim, rotation gives you 2 chances to go in. Either straight in, because you'd almost put 2 basketballs through the hoop at the same time. So when you have rotation on it, it hits the rim because of laws of physics, whatever that is. It's going to rotate up in the air, and it's going to have a second chance to come back down through. That's what we're looking for doing.
You just lost half of it when you said physics.
Yeah, he went on physics on me, and I was looking also too while he was doing that, Andy. At Tay Barber comes in, but Vic and Hopkins, your second and third scoring options, go out. So this is important that if you're a Patriot, you know the defense is going to be thinking, deny Barber here. Make those other guys beat me with the 6-point deficit here. So these next 2-3 minutes, awful critical to me for Patriot to get it to halftime where South Lakes doesn't go up double digits.
Right, this is going to be big because somebody's got to show they can score. If not, this deficit in the next 4 minutes can get really wide.
There's Barber in the lane. Got it. That's what you want if you're a Pioneer fan.
Under control, and he saw the second defender come. He just put it up. He didn't rush it or force it. He did it under control, which was so smooth and good to see. Answering what Scott did a couple possessions ago.
That's going to be a push from behind by Kai Wilcox of Patriot. Good call by the official there. You can kind of see this shove right here, right there. Yep.
Yeah, he got beaten. The best thing you could do is just try to hold on.
Kennedy's so quick around the edge.
You talk about first steps. His second step gains more ground than that first step does.
Well, that burst is going to be a really big deal for them as they move forward.
There's Rochester working to the middle of the lane. Nice pass to Kennedy.
Oh, nice
jump,
free.
the pump, and the shot, and the foul.
What an instinctive play by Brian Kennedy to get South Lakes.
Watch how he looks. He looks it off like he's going to pass it, knowing sure well he's going to keep it. Once the guy floats by, he's going to lay it off the glass and gets a little bit of an extra with the foul.
And one opportunities. Those can bite you in a state championship right now, as you see Sherman Rivers talking with one of his youngsters in Kai Wilcox. South Lakes guards have done a really good job off the dribble, creating and being playmakers.
Yeah, they like I said, they've really proven Patriots defense, see what's available, and then take advantage of the best matchup.
There's Barber again, down on the turf, and a timeout's going to be called, heads-up play by the senior guard. So he'll call timeout. We'll pause for a moment here. It's a 30-second timeout. 24-17 South Lakes. We talked about the evolving play of the Seahawks and how much better they've gotten throughout the year since that loss by double digits to Patriot earlier in the season. And they're showing it here in the first half.
They've only had one other loss the rest of the way, Andy, and a 17-game winning streak coming into this one. I mean, I think they've been able to get in this groove where it's become routine and regimented, which you have to have when you come into the Siegel Center for the first time. You know, it's also interesting to me, this is South Lakes as a program, their 8th trip to the state Final Four since 1989. They've never won a championship. They've lost twice before, 1999 to Princess Anne, 2003 to Highland Springs, but even with the great Grant Hill who played there, they've never won the state championship.
If I'm not mistaken, when they had Grant, they lost to Hampton, I think.
Sounds about right. If it's wrong, someone will message us and correct you. So,
well, they can, but I think it was Hampton they lost to.
Foot on the line back here. That'll be a turnover. Desmond Hopkins stepped on that out-of-bounds line. Maybe Grant's watching today. It's alma mater playing in the state championship game.
I know just does some great work covering the basketball scene for Turner and NBA TV. You know, Grant Hill, they had some really good teams back then. Mike Desmond, his record 108-15 as the head coach. That is mighty, mighty strong.
Is that one of those PlayStation?
Here's Kennedy again, starting to win off the dribble and finish.
Just like how he competes.
Love it. And a foul called on Rochester. He thought he had all ball.
And what he did in the state semis with that very, very fine first half against Hayfield has bled over to today in this ball game. Hopkins starting to see the ball go through the net from the foul line. Might get him on track for a pretty large output offensively, and they need it right now because they're not getting a lot of scoring from other parts on the floor.
I like his aggressiveness to the hole, but you either got to finish at the rim or you got to find that open guy. Now, if you get fouled, that's different. They'll get him free at the free throw line.
Second attempt coming here from Desmond Hopkins. And that one's good. So 26-19 the score, under 3 to play here in this first half. You're watching the Class 6 Boys State Championship game on the NFHS Network. If you've missed any portion of this game, you can come back and watch a full on-demand replay.
Jordan Scott's calling for it.
Rochester wanted it in the corner. Now he's got it back out to Kennedy. Kennedy over the top of Hopkins. Check that Halim, and then the putback is good by Vita.
Offensive boards are hurting the Pioneers. It's keeping them from getting closer by South Lakes converting these into points.
There's Halim and a travel called. He disagreed, but the official said, sorry, too many steps, no dribbles.
Again,
no Pearl Packer Rock, walk on by.
Exactly, there it is. And again, Patriot trying to go for the quick shot. South Lakes using clock.
These two teams like to play high-scoring games. Patriot at just under 72 points per game. South Lakes at 67.2. But we look at the score now, and it's not replicating what happened in December. More of a lower scoring game. It could be on pace for the 40s, 50s, dare we say 60s.
I dare say we've been in the States the last couple of days. I'm not sure anybody's really got their average.
Well, how about that move by Vita? Fancy footwork underneath. He gets the bucket.
Really making some clever plays out there.
Barber fighting against Kennedy. That's just a strong play right there.
That's strength on that shot.
Almost had it knocked away and tied up. He found a way to get it up in there.
He's trying to will them back. Who's going to help him consistently, though?
We need. I like to see them go to Vic a little bit more, too. Use his bounciness out there on offense.
They have not involved him a whole ton in the offensive flow at this point.
Beat right around the defender. Back out to Andre for three. No good. Rochester's got it. He's going to try to put it up. Second time on the block. No good. And the rebound to Hopkins.
Let's see if that block by Vic sparks a run before the half here for Patriot.
Halim battling inside. Will shoot two on the foul. Going up against guys way taller, but he found a way to draw the horn.
You know, I see Hampton Crabbers coach Eric Brown in the stand sitting next to his good buddy Dwight Vick. And they played Patriot this year in December. Patriot was down about 16, 18 points, came back, took the lead. It was a back-and-forth finish. Gavin Kay had the game winner for the Crabbers. But Patriot has it in him to come back from a large deficit. But right now, these free throws can help this stay within single digits as we get to halftime.
Again, like I say, today's game, down 9 is 3 baskets.
Yep.
A 3-point mentality. But again, you got to be clicking on that. You got to be being able to shoot it, or 9 is a lot.
But we saw this last night, Andy, with the Northside Lake Taylor game. The Titans were up 5, and it got down to a point by halftime, and Northside had all the momentum. If Patriot turns this from, it could have got up to 10, 11, 12, and it becomes a 5-point game or 6-point game, 7-point game here at the break. Now you're looking at a situation where momentum is starting to lean towards the fellas in red.
A lot of basketball that have to be played. Just keep chipping away.
Well, we saw guard play last night with Northside dominate the game. The way that Kennedy is playing right now for the Seahawks, very similar. He's in charge out there.
He is, and he knows they want to get the last shot. He's not letting Patriot rip it away and get a shot up before the horn. Very smart.
3-point try. Oh, got it. How about that? Right on cue. There's the first half player of the game is none other than Brian Kennedy in my mind. The way he's run the show. You guys agree?
Him and Scott, maybe because I think Scott had the first quarter, Kennedy had the second quarter, but that's a momentum boost and a jolt for South Lakes. It could have got down to 7 or 5. Instead, it's 10 because of his play and his decision-making at the guard spot.
Yeah, that's big. That was cunning on that play. Everybody knew what he was going to do, and he still knocked it down.
So a 10-point lead for the South Lake Seahawks heading into the locker room over the Patriot Pioneers. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and show you some highlights and talk about halftime adjustments when we return to the Siegel Center. You're watching the VHSL Championships on the NFHS Network. We'll be right back.
High school sports fans, relive your favorite moments. Just click the shopping cart below the video player to get your digital copy today.
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great. Participate.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 12 million participants in America who take part in high school sports or activities.
Going to college for esports feels amazing. Growing up, it's something I never thought would happen. My family never thought it would happen. And then within 2.5 years, here I am.
He's actually a madman whenever it comes to playing on the sticks.
You know, he's going to be the first one that pursues this into an academic career.
Me getting an esports scholarship could show other students that it's possible for them too, as long as they put their mind to it and put some effort into it.
With great brands at the best prices at Academy Sports and Outdoors, you'll always find more fun. More of this and this, and more of this and this. So you can do more of that, and that, and that, and definitely some of that. While getting together for more of that, and that. Yes! Have more fun with great brands at the best prices, only at Academy Sports and Outdoors. With great brands at the best prices at Academy Sports and Outdoors, you'll always find more fun. More of this and this, and more of this and this. So you can do more of that, and that, and that, and definitely some of that. While getting together for more of that, and that. Yes! Have more fun with great brands at the best prices, only at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
This presentation of the NFHS Network is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Have fun out there. High school sports fans, relive your favorite moments. Just click the shopping cart below the video player to get your digital copy today.
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 12 million participants in America who take part in high school sports or activities.
And we welcome you back here to the Siegel Center at the half. South Lake's leading Patriot 33-23. We'll go ahead and show you some first half highlights. Andy Hayes, Matt Hatfield, and the coach Ed Young with you on the NFHS network. And we'll start it off with some first quarter highlights here, guys. Just talk a little bit about what we saw right away. It was a good turnaround from Mekhi Dillard to get things started for Patriot, but the scoring has been a little bit of a problem for the Pioneers. Not so much for Jordan Scott and the Seahawks. They've been pretty efficient.
Yeah, Andy, I mean, in the case of Patriot, they scored the first 4 points, but Jordan Scott bunched 10 of his 12 points in the first quarter. You see the up and under move there inside. Aiden Billings has been a factor, and Brian Kennedy had the great second quarter. There he is feeding it up top for Scott. Kennedy had 11 in the half, 10 in that second period. And here's the work in the break for South Lakes. They had 4 fast break points, but Ed, really the story's been the 12 points off of turnovers for South Lakes, getting them the lead. Patriot has stayed in it because of their foul shooting, 11 of 11, whereas they're 0 for 4 from behind the arc.
Yeah, South Lake's got it going on the fast break, where, again, Patriots shooting quick. They have 6 field goals total in the first half. Scott has 5 alone for South Lakes.
And here's that move right there by Tyler Andre to counter what Desmond Hopkins and Tay Barber were trying to do for the Pioneers to get back in it, and then attacking the offensive board. 7 offensive boards for 8 second chance points, and there's Scott again showing off his greatness. Tay Barber needs some help, fellas, because he's got 8 points. Hopkins has 7, all at the foul line. Who's going to make a shot right now? The guy they have to call upon is Isaiah Vick, who South Lakes is going at a good bit defensively, though Vick has 2 blocks.
I would say Vick needs more touches, and that's a combination of them getting the ball, him keep moving. It would be a hard cover. He's long and lanky like Scott, not quite as aggressive, but he only had 2 shot attempts in that first half. So I'd like to see him get the ball a little bit more.
Well, if you're also Patriot, you've got to come up with a plan to stop Brian Kennedy. I mean, he has dominated the second quarter of action by far. And the problem right now, everybody's paying attention to Jordan Scott, which you have to. But Brian Kennedy's been the reason why South Lakes is out in front by a 10-point lead. I mean, he's been dominant.
Well, Andy, they have 2 players right now, South Lakes and Kennedy and Scott, that Patriot right now has not stopped defensively. The question is, can they, A, and B, can they get some outside shots to fall? Because last year they were here 1 for 12 from 3. Today they're 0 for 4 from 3. So if you're watching them for the first time, your initial thought is they can't shoot. But when Tay Barber's made 175 threes in his career, he was on the team last year, you have shooting weapons, but they're not making them right now. So what do you do to score if the 3 ball is not prevalent in your game plan?
And you're going to need the 3 ball in your repertoire. When you're down double digits, you can't just get layups, and they're not getting layups at will.
Errant pass to start it off. Hopkins has got it. And now he'll fire the 3. No good. Almost. Looked good from here.
Almost on cue, we said at 3. Now they're 0 for 5. Hopkins got a nice spin on his shot. He's the one I could see him and Barber getting the 3s.
Billings down on the baseline. Leaning in.
Big fella.
And he goes underneath.
Yes.
Nice move by number 44.
What position he playing football?
Line guy. He's on the line of scrimmage.
Line,
and you know what? He sets those screens too. He's also
that's my kind of guy.
Impact player. Free up Kennedy and Vita and Scott and the rest of the cast.
Him and I would do great at 5 guys.
Great shot from the edge by Dillard. A much-needed 3. They need some scoring from the perimeter.
That's exactly what they got to pick up on. I've noticed coming out of the half, guys, they've turned up their defense a little bit more. Look like they're trying to double-team the ball at times. And obviously they've taken a couple deep shots now. So obviously Coach Rivers had made some adjustments.
Scott going up and around. And there's the spin on the ball that rolls it up and in.
He's just able to drive right by him. And who do you put on? Do you put a smaller guy that he can post up, take it inside?
No, Vic's the matchup. Vic's the matchup. He's just got to be a little bit stronger with him.
But do you see that second defender?
You know, you got to bring somebody at him, yes. Yes, you got to bring somebody at him.
Shot blocked out of bounds by Scott, so Vic thought he was hacked there. And I think he might have been hacked.
Yeah, he was hit. He was hit.
A little bit of contact.
He was hit high and low.
Match Patriots' biggest deficit of the afternoon.
There's Barber from way downtown. No good. Tyler Andre's got the rebound up to Vita underneath, and it's blocked out of bounds. And he's going to throw it off of Patriot. Off of Diller to get it back for the Seahawks.
Tay Barber a little frustrated. 0 for 4 now from three-point line, and you said, Matt, he's an excellent three-point shooter.
Yeah, he's as reliable as it gets. 2-time Cedar Run District Player of the Year, Region 6B Player of the Year this season.
Here's Scott for 3. Got it. Man, was that pretty.
That had some range, too. He was a good 4 or 5 feet behind the three-point line on that shot.
He's got great rotation and great legs on his shot because you shoot Jays with your legs.
Vic underneath. Comedy back out to Barber. Here's Vic. He'll try his hand at a three-pointer. No good. Tyler Andre fighting through a wall of red to come up with that ball. Lead is 14 for the Seahawks. Oh, great pass underneath by Scott to Vita.
Beautiful back door.
How good was that? That might have been even better than his 3 a moment ago.
Yes, that was pretty.
Next level stuff you're watching, folks.
Three-pointer from Vic, good. Big shot right there. Patriot trying to hang close. I tell you, there's nothing more exciting, in my opinion, as a high school coach or a fan of high school sports, when you see a young player realize that they're the best player on the floor. And the switch goes off and comes on and you go, uh-oh, here we go. And Coach, watching Jordan Scott, he knows he's that guy. The confidence he plays with, it's visible for everybody in the gym.
Smooth. He's not rushing anything. He's smooth. He knows what he's capable of. He's calculating out there. That's what I like about it.
Oh, how about the pump fake?
Scott, throw it down! Hello!
Oh, man. What a feel for the game for this young man. The junior from Reston, rising up on a big stage, playing like a impact guy. Beyond this level, he's got a bright future ahead of him.
That's the highlights. Yeah, we're going to definitely have to see that highlight.
Well, they call him the Great Scott, Ed.
I told you. And he's only a junior now. Pump fake. Lexington, he's going to.
Poster.
Oh, let's go.
Nah, he didn't dunk on anybody. The kids on the bench went nuts. He did not dunk on anybody.
Yeah, but the kids say poster, head tap, all that great stuff. They love that.
He got a little overexcited. He dunked the basketball once he went by the defender, and it was very nice.
Coach Young, quit watering it down.
I know. Listen, he doesn't like the kids on the bench patting their heads, rubbing their tummy. He's like, what are you doing, you hungry? That's what he's saying over here.
Now, trust me, if he dunks on somebody, I'm going to be jumping out of my seat. But come on now, let's give the youngster the credit. Now, the move, yes, tremendous move.
Tough crowd over here, Jordan.
I know, jeez.
Absolutely.
That was electrified. It brought the whole crowd up to their feet. Love it.
He would have been the Russian judge in the dunk contest,
yeah,
right? I mean, goodness.
Well, first of all, you're not allowed to judge the dunk contest if you couldn't dunk when you were younger, right?
That's right. Here he goes again.
Scott up and around. That one a little bit too strong. Barber on the rebound. Oh, nice move. A little bit shy on the 3. Vic's got the rebound. Patriot definitely going to the perimeter now as they're trying to get back in this game. And that one thrown away by Halim. Credit Brian Kennedy for the pressure defense that caused that errant throw.
Well, and the difference in these two teams, Patriot might be more your better help side, clog the paint type of team. South Lakes will shoot the gaps, passing lanes for steals. They'll do those type of things. And right there, got in the passing lane, and they're making Patriot become perimeter oriented.
Right, and again, the key too is to eliminate passing, you got to put good ball pressure.
There's Vita working right side, jumper, no good, and that's going to come down to Barber. He'll push it. Gets the board, a bucket, and he's fouled by Tyler Andre. And that could be a three-point play for the Pioneers.
So when he grabbed that rebound, gentlemen, there is no question. He was going coast to coast, get out of my way. I don't care who's open. He is trying to get his team going.
44-31. Every time we look up at the scoreboard, the Seahawks are just methodically enhancing their lead.
Well, and every possession is so precious now for the Pioneers to try to chip away at this. You can't make up 12 points in 1 or 2 plays. It has to be a string of plays together and a string of stops that come with those plays.
Yeah, and that's the key. The key, you got to get stops.
That was a rim-rocking, one-handed dunk moments ago.
There's Rochester working in. Right hand, no good. But a foul called.
And both of you guys know as coaches, there are plays in any sport, basketball, football, we watch Rochester go to work here to draw the foul, football, you name it, that have a lasting effect. And when you're the team behind and that play happens to you, you have to brush it off fast and try to trigger a run quickly to make people forget about what happened here. And when you walk out of the building, you say, did you see that play moments ago or that three? And that's where Patriot is right now. They know these next 2-3 minutes, can they change the narrative and the feel right now in this environment where South Lakes has a firm grip of things.
Yeah, you're behind and you get dunks like that going on. It hurts a lot more.
Jump ball, possession arrows going back to Patriot. 2 missed free throws there by Rochester. Vic will check back in for Halim for the Pioneers.
What can Sherman Rivers and company dial up to just change the momentum of this game? Is there anything schematic-wise, adjustment-wise they can go to? It's coming our way almost.
Here's Barber. Underneath, offensive foul call.
Yeah.
Bucket won't count.
How about Rochester to stand in there and take that charge?
Yes, he was there.
We got help on the side with Scott, and Rochester laying his body on the line. You know, he comes in, he's thinking, all right, I'm going to be the Robin, if you will, to Scott's Batman maybe. No, he didn't have to score this many points. He'll do those little things knowing that that's going to help his team get the championship ring.
Yeah, he can. He's a good secondary option, and he's exerted himself on the defensive side of things too, blocking shots, being in the right area with those long arms, grabbing the rebounds. And now,
pass knocked away from Scott. Kennedy comes up with it, and the Seahawks will reset, leading 44-32. Here's a steal. Dillard all the way to the basket. Kennedy tried to block it, couldn't get it. That one's good. Patriot with a big defensive bucket. On the steal there, coast to coast. And another turnover, so here comes some momentum. Is this the start of the run for the Pioneers? What do you think?
And you're right, and Coach Desmond felt it too, and he decided to take a timeout to calm the troops down.
Like that timeout. And how about these 7 seniors for Patriot? They know this is the last hurrah. Makai Dillard, one of them. All right, he's not known as the ballyhooed scorer on this team, but whatever he can do, a steal, an extra pass here, a deflection, a tip, a layup, it can help give his team some hope and cut this thing down before the fourth quarter arrives.
Yeah, you want to go in the fourth quarter definitely under 10, under double digits. Like I say, that 9, anything 9 and under, if you got shooters, and they made a couple threes this half, but they didn't make any in the first. Could do it.
Coach Young, you got some fans out there that are writing in going, tell the coach to enjoy the dunk, man.
Don't
Let's
be
go.
the old curmudgeon. Embrace the culture, the youngsters.
It was.
Come on, get excited.
All right, if people are not out there, let me reiterate. It was a tremendous dunk. I can't do it, but I don't have eligibility. Number 2, I just said it. He did not dunk on anybody. It was a tremendous dunk.
I love it. Coach Young on the defense.
Now, how would you defend Jordan Scott? In all seriousness, how would you defend him? What would be your strategy and plan? Whether it be
I got to go with somebody long, lanky on him to try to match his length. If I'm going with a muscle guy, we're going to try to be very physical with him. Do not let him go where he wants to go, but he will destroy somebody on a perimeter who's muscle and can't move as much as him. You're going to have to go with length on him.
Let's give him a chance to give him some praise. Is he the best player you've seen this week in the state tournament?
No.
He's not. Oh. Okay. We'll have to find out
let me hold on before I get more right in.
Best prospect?
Yes, and I love the kid Troy Henderson from
Lancaster.
Okay. Now, would I love to have Scott? Oh, my God. Let me take him home right now.
Here's Vic.
He looked good in red and black uniform.
Turnaround shot, no good, but a foul called on Scott. Jordan Scott's the best player I've seen so far.
Yeah.
We've still got some games left to play here later today.
But if you're doing an all-tournament team, Andy, and you've got Troy Henderson, Cy Hardy, Jordan Scott, that's not a bad way to start your team, right?
No, and I think that you got to also look at different positions, right?
Sure.
I mean, Cy Hardy's the best point guard I've seen so far. Jordan Scott plays that forward / guard spot some. And at the next level, he's got an enormous upside. I mean, with his size, and he'll keep adding strength, and I mean, he's going to be phenomenal.
If you're looking for a big man, Latrell Allman at John Marshall comes to mind with what he's done.
I was just going to say, don't forget John Marshall's got a few players.
Yes, they do. Red Thompson at the point's not too shabby either.
Exactly.
We're going to forget some names, I'm sure. Then they'll be running into us telling us, don't forget so-and-so for the all-tournament team, as if we're naming one.
The views expressed are those of Matt Hatfield, and he will take all
blame.
All the blame.
No credit, just the blame? Okay.
No credit, just send your complaints to Matt Hatfield.
Exactly right.
There's Scott and Vic again, that matchup. One to watch.
Billings underneath. Size mismatch here.
Posting them up.
Oh, knocked out of bounds by Hopkins. Almost a steal. So the spacing a little bit off here in the last couple of times down the court. Coach Young, they're getting a little too tight on their passing lanes. Make it a little easier for Patriot.
They're going through their little down period right now. Teams have that ebb and flow. Things look great. All of a sudden, it's like, what are we doing? We're doing all right, and we kind of get out of it. That's what South Lake's going here towards the end of the third.
Oh, look at the feed.
And they fixed that real quick. Now that's a play.
Vita. How about Sol Vita, the unselfishness. A little hot sauce on that.
Three-pointer, no good. A scrum on the ground. Rochester in the middle of it, along with Dillard.
That was beautiful play at South Lakes. That's a shot. I'd want to see over and over. Drove the lane down there, got picked up, looked away, passed inside, just threaded the needle.
Just the ball movement was so good. I mean, that's what you want to see, where you're getting your teammates involved. Everybody touch the ball. Here's again, Ed.
Drive.
The no look. How about that?
Sol Vita. Watched him a couple years ago as a ninth grader. I remember highlighting him as he's going to be one that's going to help them win a lot of basketball games, and this one would be the championship to cement, you'd say, his career, but he's a junior. He's got another year to go.
Great job of defense by Kennedy. And a foul called on the floor on Elston.
2 shots, but this is the 15th foul, so Hopkins was 7 of 7 in the first half.
So I've noticed that the games have been moving a lot faster this tournament. Tell me if I'm wrong, but is it because of this new rule, you think?
It's a good question. I think it's hurt some comebacks, although we watched Tuscarora almost pull off a miracle one yesterday against Hampton. I think the flow is picked up well, and we've got better teams. Ed can attest to this, that defensively aren't in that foul mode. I think in regular season we'd see a lot of games that would slow down to a crawl because of the rule.
Well, and I think the other thing, too, is a lot of people shoot tons of jump shots. You don't have as many fouls called. You don't have the bang inside. It's a lot of jump shots. And some poor shooting that results on fast breaks the other end, so the referees don't really have to blow the whistle a whole lot.
And these are two, I don't think we call these two as two power physical teams. They're more finesse-style teams with their skill level.
They play aggressive. Both teams, they do.
Oh, what a play by Isaiah Vick, trampoline-like.
Vick just jumped out of the gym to catch that ball.
Yeah, I mean, that ball stuck right in his hands, too. From back in my Lester Hayes days of the Raiders with the stick him all over his uniform, the ball would just stick in his hands. He wouldn't bobble it or nothing. Can't do that anymore.
This could pull it underneath double digits here if he can make these free throws.
And a big response after that sweep pass by Vita for Scott to finish it. Get it to 8 in the fourth quarter as he doesn't hit the first one, unfortunately. And they were a perfect 11 of 11 as a team in the first half from the charity stripe.
It's their first miss, isn't it?
I think it is for the game.
First miss for the game. You fella just got to stay there, keep your mindset on the rim. It's a process.
But can Patriot catch up without, field goals? Because they're getting so many free throws. They did get a couple of threes here in this half, including one from Vic from the wing. But defense has to trigger the offense for them. They got to get some stops consistently.
Full court pressure. Quickly up to Scott. Now back out to Kennedy. 42 seconds and counting.
Just go for hold it to the end of the quarter shot.
This is his time. He had such a great second quarter, and now he's going to let the clock tick down, and this is where he had that big play into the second period. He's going to make some type of play, be it on a score or a dish and drive, or I should say drive and dish. Dillard's going to try to hurry him up, though.
Kennedy going off to the right. Almost gets it to fall. Loose ball picked up by Elston. And it's going to go back to South Lakes.
They had the switch.
Seconds.
They had the switch come where Ryan Keenan picked him up after he scooted by Dillard, and it was a pretty good look.
Then he fell down, and the Patriot young man got the rebound but tripped over him and dropped the ball right on Kennedy's chest, and he threw it to a teammate.
Into Scott underneath. Turn around. Foul called, and he's got the 2 free throws coming. The ball rolls around on the rim and out.
And that goes back to what Ed said earlier. He's got such great body control and feel for the game. As he gets stronger, he'll be able to finish through contact, absorb contact, and now he becomes an even more lethal cover.
Yeah, he's going to probably put on another 10-pound of muscle. He'll be a tremendous wing, combination wing, a little bit inside, but he's more of a wing. He's definitely not an inside player, but he has capability.
If Coach Izzo's coming after him, he's got a chance to be great.
He does. And I think he's visited the school, I've noticed on social media, multiple times. So he's a priority, it looks like, for them in the class of 2025. And now he gets a breather here before the end of the third quarter. Don't let him pick up a cheap foul as Willstone comes back in for him.
Good move. Take him out, let him get a little extra rest, plus the end of the period rest. Smart move. Going to the hole.
Barber with a second left will throw it up off the glass, and that one just barely misses. Had a good look at it. So we head to quarter number 4. South Lakes leading 48-37 over Patriot. We're back on the NFHS network. You're watching the VHSL Championships. Come on back with us. And we're back. Quarter number 4 in the Class 6 state championship game. Andy Hayes, Matt Hatfield, Coach Ed Young. South Lakes leading 48-37 here. Timeout called quickly by South Lakes as Vita was under duress. Jordan Scott here in this game has a game-high 23 for the Seahawks. 11 points in that third quarter.
Yeah, he had the third quarter very similar to his first period as we look at some of the highlights. I believe after you see Coach Sherman Rivers with the huddle here for the Pioneers. The thing that really jumps out at me, too, as we look at some of the numbers, too, 30-16 in the painted area for South Lakes, 14-3 in points off of turnovers. And, Ed, in addition to that, they've taken care of the basketball. Just 6 turnovers for the Seahawks. They've not allowed Patriot to speed them up and force miscues that they can capitalize on their own end.
Right, and they're really working their offense, too, which is probably where a lot of turnovers can occur. somebody don't cut right or somebody makes a bad pass. And the other place you're going to have a lot of turnovers if you're just running up and down the floor and the ball's going all over the place. South Lake's a very good ball control team.
Billings out top. Helping to run the offense underneath to Kennedy, and that one's a little bit errant. Out of bounds.
Well, we see Patriot try to speed things up because they know there's only so many possessions left in this basketball game. And if so, who does it for them?
Well, you got to remember, gentlemen, I always say, when you get to the 3-minute mark in the fourth quarter, you got to be within range of what your team is capable of doing. If you're not a great shooting team, you better be down in low single digits. If you can shoot it, like I said, 9 points, maybe 10 with 3 minutes to go, you could be all right. If not, you're in trouble. That 3 minutes looks like 30 seconds.
Tyler Andre has to sit down after that foul. So Rochester back in. And foul whistled on Scott.
It was only a second. That was an excuse me foul. The player was running away from him.
I don't know about you all, but the first 3 quarters felt like a South Lakes dominant deal, but they're still only up by 11. Patriots really right there.
Andy, I know what you're feeling on that, but it's a solid 11 for them, but for Patriot, it looks like it's 21 because they're just struggling. You can see every time they miss a shot, they're grimacing their face like they know, I got to make a bucket, because South Lake's, again, good ball control team. They can work that clock pretty soon. That 11-point lead is, down to a couple minutes.
Yeah, you have to get steals if you're Patriot to get quick buckets. Doesn't take up much time and gets everyone excited and enthused.
There's Barber. Jumper in the lane, no good. Rebound, Billings.
Just not having one of his normal shooting.
No, 4 for 12 from the field for him, and Patriot has to find creative ways to get him a couple of baskets in a row where the defense is chasing him. And to the Seahawks' credit, their defenders are staying connected to him, not giving him easy ones.
Yeah, he's had to work. He's had to really work on that offense, and it's bothering his shot a lot.
Kennedy around Dillard, no good. Billings with the strong rebound and puts it back.
How about his play tonight? 6 points, 5 rebounds, workmanlike in the paint.
And the best sneakers on the floor.
You think so, really?
Best sneakers on the floor.
He'll get a breather. Elston checks back in. Billings with a standing O from his home crowd.
Now there would be a pair of shoes, Hatfield, who sometimes is outfit challenged. You would look good in them green sneakers.
Listen, I'll get some green sneaks for St. Patty's Day coming up.
No, I mean, just wear them the regular day.
Okay.
No, they don't want that foul. Ooh. All the referees in the stands disagree.
Well, you know what, though? The referees in the stands don't have whistles like the ones on the court that matter.
And they don't wear that color shirt, so.
Mike Desmond seems to be pretty civil about it, though. He's not too upset.
No, and the refereeing officiating has been good. It's been good.
13-point lead helps you with that. Right now, Sherman Rivers knows he's running out of time here.
Every time you're up, the officiating is good. When you're behind, you're just questioning it. I represent that at times. You said now, Matt, this you got to get back in the game. Clock stop. You got to make free throws.
Vic pulls it back to 12. 6.5 to play.
Well, let's keep an eye on the foul count because you've already got what the board is showing us, 3 in the period for South Lakes and 1 on Patriot. If Patriot can get in that bonus of 5 before the 4-minute mark, now you can make this thing workable.
Yeah, 2 more fouls will get them there. 2 more fouls will get them there.
But it starts inside out.
Rochester into the lane with a nice touch, and it falls.
Oh, the defense of Rochester just bothered Hopkins entirely there. Look out.
Vita to the basket, throws it up, and no good, but a foul called.
As good as that basket was by Rochester, his defense was smothering on that sequence to give them another chance, and now it's the Pioneers' second foul. So as they try to play catch-up here, they're picking up fouls, and South Lakes is continuing to keep that lead at a comfortable margin. 14, trying to make it 15 or 16.
Absolutely. When you're down, the last thing you want to see is your opponent who's beating you on the foul line. That's 3 points with no clock movement, and you can't defend it.
First free throw, no good. Vita's had some great plays in this game. South Lake's going to be scary good next year, too.
They are, because you look at it, though they'll graduate some seniors like Billings and Shunky and Tyler Andre, Brian Kennedy, they got to replace him, as well as Rochester. They have some components to go with George Scott. And Vita is definitely one of them. He'll be a, I think, 4-year starter by then, Andy, and those are rare in high school sports.
Very rare.
I wonder if there were other Rochester on the roster. Got to be his brother.
I believe that's correct, yep.
And how good will he be?
Well, Big Bro's going to have to make him work to be as good as him, right?
Yeah. Ralston, who's played a little bit tonight, I think he'll step in that role too. 6'8"?
Yeah, you can't teach
6'6".
that.
That's right, can't teach height. Look for a driving dish here.
Ooh.
Possession will stay with South Lakes. Rochester limping around there, twisted an ankle.
They're just trying to make this thing methodical at this point. 15-point lead. Use that cushion.
Scott likes the matchup. Gonna go around Vic. Back to Kennedy. Push from behind is the call.
We go back to our keys, guys, at the start of the ball game. We had for Patriot, slow the great Scott. That hasn't happened today, other than the second quarter where he didn't do much. First and third quarter, he was terrific. Avoid the drought. They've had a drought, and second chance points not been in their favor. South Lakes, they've had perimeter defense. They've bottomed up from 3. They've gotten some balanced scoring to go with Scott at times, especially with Brian Kennedy, and they've created a couple of turnovers here and there to keep Patriot from getting on that run.
Yeah, you talk about drought. Their lowest point total of the year was the first game of the year. They lost 59-46 to Woodside. Right now, 38 pace. They're on pace to get 46 points.
They could ultimately, Patriot, if they don't rally here, have 5 losses, and 3 of them, Andy B, to the Class 6 state champion in South Lakes, potentially the back-to-back Class 5 champion in Woodside if they beat LC Bird later today, and the Class 4 champion in Hampton.
Well, I mean, that's not a whole lot to hang your head about.
No, it isn't. And you win 24 ball games, right?
Right. I mean, you know, you're right there. You're playing good teams, and you're in the final game of the year. Just showing you some of the highlights here from the second half. And saw Billings exert himself underneath the basket, offensive rebounds, putting it back in as Rochester. You know, it's been a complete team effort so far for South Lakes. And that's what you need in a state championship game. You need that every game, but especially in a state championship game. Everybody's got to bring something to the table and help take down the opponent. And South Lakes has had a complete group today doing just that.
And that's what also makes it tougher. You're not playing your best game. Patriots definitely not playing their best game, but they're playing against a team that is achieving what they normally do, and it makes things just so tougher.
Bounce pass to Scott, and they'll bring it back out here to Kennedy. Kennedy underneath, left hand. Oh, pretty move. Brian Kennedy.
He's got the ball on a string, and he's got the defenders trying to figure out how to stop him from doing that.
It looked like a mouse grabbing the cheese and back in the hole before you even knew what happened. That was a tremendous freeze move that he just did. It looked like he was going to maybe pull it back. Defense took a second to relax, and that's when he went right by him. That's a great sense. Not many kids can do that.
And you know what, Andy? He's known for being the 2-time Concord District Defensive Player of the Year. He can play some offense, too. He's a two-way force. Two-way force, no question about it.
He's another good one, fellas, that we've seen some good point guards this weekend. Put him in the list.
Great move by Brian Kennedy right there.
The blow-by. And, you know, I think both teams have great incentive when you get to the state championship. There's no question about that. But for South Lakes, who lost to Patriot in December, those kids don't want to lose for them again, and this time it be in the state championship.
Yeah,
put a little extra something about cheese in front of the mice. Put a little extra cheese in front of the kids, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Here's Vic. Nice block by Scott. No shot for you, he says.
Used his springs to send it away.
I mean, it's not like Vic is a short guy.
No, he's not.
I mean, he's 6'6".
And Tay Barber trying to stay with both Scott and Kennedy. You go to a 6'6" plus guy, and then you have to guard the smaller guy in 6 foot.
And meanwhile, my shot's not dropping. So frustration on all ends for Tay Barber. He's a very good player in his own right. It's just one of them days.
Harvard's getting the talent. And, you know, it's unfortunate for the Pioneers that they have not been able to get on that run, because usually basketball is a game of runs. We watched it in the Manchester-Thomasdale girls game. You felt like it was on the verge of happening, but South Lakes has prevented them from getting on that run with their defense and attention to detail.
Exactly. And speaking of that, that means Barber and Rochester will be meeting each other for the next 4 years.
Oh, that's right. I hadn't thought about that in the Ivy.
Yep. We'll probably compare physics grades, nuclear science grades.
I have no idea what you're talking about over there.
No. When it comes to grades, the only thing you want to know what grade was the eggs for breakfast.
Scrambled and tasty. Here's Kennedy again, baseline.
Hanging in the air, Brian Kennedy. There's a problem. Cannot stop him.
Those two young men are bookending this game. Scott with his first and third quarters, Kennedy with his second and fourth quarters.
If they hold on to win this game, gentlemen, we might have a debate on player of the game.
Well, not just that, a closer. And now I'll get. You think, Andy, you're getting some messages about Coach Young on the dunk comment. I'm going to stir the pot some more. The way South Lakes has performed today, I know John Marshall's out there. I know Northside's out there. I know Hampton won a championship, Lancaster back-to-back. But anybody play a better championship game than the South Lakes team?
Not that I've
this
seen.
weekend? I'm not sure there
against quality competition.
Sure.
Right.
And it is the highest classification.
Right.
I think South Lakes would say, we'll play you anytime, anywhere, any place.
See, right now you're saying you're ranking them number one.
I mean, as far as your start to finish of the game, I haven't seen a lull from them. And I don't know if I would pick them head-to-head against John Marshall. That's a pretty big statement, let's be honest. I would probably say John Marshall's more talent. Let's be fair here. But there was a lull in that game against Virginia High, as much as they won by. And Northside's a great team. They were down by 5 against Lake Taylor. I'm just telling you, they've been as thoroughly in a dominant type of way against a quality foe.
Yeah, they run their offense well. They played excellent defense.
So here come all the messages from angry Vikings and Justices fans out there saying,
I'm glad they're going to you.
What about us?
I'm glad they're going to you.
What about us?
At Hatfield Sports on X.
There you go.
Find them on the web anywhere.
Rochester underneath. Got it. Great pass from Vita.
And you got to deal with Vita's passing, Kennedy's playmaking, Rochester inside, and the greatness of Scott.
No good on the shot from Barber. And a foul called on Patriot. Tyler Andre knocked to the ground, but he'll shoot a couple. 60-38. It's been a tough day for Patriot.
Very, very frustrated group, you could tell. And they're better than this. They're absolutely better than this. Just was not a good shooting day for them. and they had to really cover a lot of different people on the defensive end.
Well, you can make the case this is their worst offensive output because the season low was 46 against Woodside, and in a game they led in the second quarter before Woodside had a 21-8 margin in that Princess Anne showcase back in early December. And here we are. Patriot has to get 8 more points to get to that mark, and South Lakes has really clamped down and kept them from finding their bread and butter offensively.
Exactly.
Carson Cook into the ball game along with Trey Penix for Patriot. Hopkins and Vick come out. You know what, at the end of the day, so much of this game is about matchups. And the way that South Lakes matched up today against Patriot, there were some problems on the floor for the Pioneers. There were just guys that, and I'll tell you, Rochester's a big part of that. I mean, he's kind of one of those guys that, you don't have a third guy that you can say, hey, handle him. You know what I'm saying? And I think he's shown today, same with Vita, those two guys have really caused a problem.
I'll go back to that 2008 state championship. You remember it, T.C. Williams, now known as Alexandria City, against Bethel. And the leading scorer on that team, even though they had Anthony Wimbush and Edward Jenkins, was a kid that came off the bench, and Travis Berry. It's about buying into your role. And Ivan Thomas, the coach of that team, who's now an assistant at Georgetown, who, by the way, once played for this guy, Ed Young, at Northview High School in Norfolk many, many, many moons ago. He got that kid to buy in. Mike Desmond getting his kids to buy into, this is what you do. Brian Kennedy, Tyler Andre, you're winners. Jordan Scott, you're a great player, but play unselfishly. He's cool with that. These guys have accepted what's asked of them to be a championship-level team.
We talk about buy-in, Coach Young. We talk about this all the time as coaches. And what people don't understand at this age sometimes, young people, they don't understand that if you don't buy into the team first, then you can't get to this spot.
Yeah, you're not getting to this level.
You literally have to be unselfish, and you have to care more about the goal of the team and what you're doing before yourself.
Well, and again, I attribute that a lot of times the kids listen to the noise on the outside instead of what they need to hear inside. Number two, I didn't say you can't do some things. I said we've got to share the wealth.
Right.
So we all get – can you imagine you play a team where all 5 guys can score as opposed to a team that you got maybe 1-2 guys can score? It's easily to defend. But to get the kids to buy in is the trick. And in this day and age where entitlement is big for young people, it's a tough chore.
Well, we've watched this week, new players like Rochester's new to South Lakes. Malik Johnson yesterday for Hampton, he's new. John Marshall, a couple new faces. You have to check your egos at the door if you want to be a part of something special and win a championship. And we've seen that with these championship teams, that trend continue.
Well, you're in an era now where people don't want to take constructive criticism, and they'll just take their ball and transfer and go somewhere else. Okay, how did you fix the situation? You're still who you are. You're just bringing your mess to another place.
Here's Andre working to the right, throws it off the glass, no good, fouled. I think the statement on top of that is that there are so many examples of teams that may not be the most talented team, but they walk away with a state championship ring. And guys who come off the bench and they play their role get an opportunity to contribute, and they'll remember that for the rest of their life. I think about the young man last night, Christian Ward, who comes off the bench because of injury to Cy Hardy from Northside, and he knocks a 3 down on the first shot he takes. And that was a huge 3, by the way.
Very big.
And they end up winning, and he'll say, hey, look, I knocked a huge 3 down in a state title game. I didn't play a lot, but I was a huge factor in the team winning. That's what it's all about.
But I was ready when my number was called because our star player went down, and look who they called. See, some kids don't realize all that. That's an issue.
And you can make the case that Lake Taylor came in as the more talented team, the bigger, more athletic team, but Northside played better together. And Cy Hardy took that coaching from Billy Pope into the first quarter after the 5-second call. He bounced back, he shook it off, and you're going to make mistakes, but it's how you respond to the adversity. And South Lake's lost to this team before. They weren't going to let it happen again today.
The way this South Lakes team has played together today has been tough to handle. And Patriots are a great team as well, but they've run into a team hitting on all cylinders today with the Seahawks.
Hey, 18 straight wins to end the season. You get on a roll, and then you believe every time you walk in the gym you're going to win.
Are you putting preseason for next year for number 1?
Well, it's early. I mean, like you just said, you were talking about transfers. You never know who walks into a school and who leaves. But if you're starting it right now, I think you're looking at, I'll give you 2 teams. I think South Lake starts out right there as 1A, and maybe your 1B comes from our area, the beach in Lansdowne. They bring back Deshaun Spellman, Xavier Cleveland. So it's a pretty good starting point to look at those two, and they could be on a collision course quite possibly come March of 2025. But right now it's the Seahawks moment. The folks in blue and green starting to get jubilant.
Standing O for the starters that are getting ready to come out, and the substitution from the guys on the bench there, and what a moment. Brian Kennedy, Jordan Scott, David Rochester today, dominant. Tyler Andre, a well-deserved big hug and a standing O.
And just think about it, Andy, this is the 8th state Final Four trip in 35, 36 years for South Lakes, and finally they've reached the mountaintop to win this thing. Third time was the charm in the final game because they lost in 03 to Highland Springs, lost in 99 to Princess Anne, and here they are getting ready to hoist that trophy.
Free throw good. Score 65-39. Patriot has scored 1 point in the fourth quarter. Impressive defense by the Seahawks in the final frame.
You think we can get Coach on to go into the crowd with South Lakes and do the I Believe He Will Win chant?
I think we get him to do it.
Can we do that? Get that on camera?
They got the best student. Yeah. I like to do the surfing, the body surfing, where they play
all the way up. Can they do that? Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, probably.
Let's make that happen.
He might be able to go in. He may not come out, though.
Yeah,
that's true.
He might be on the floor if he does that.
I wouldn't mind that before my career is over to be body surfing. Like they did to Dick Vitale that time. Was it Duke, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. At least get you a big one of those big, cutouts that they do.
Oh, yeah.
Big photo cutouts.
Oh, I'd love to have that.
The Cameron Crazies in South Lakes has a really proud student section here today.
.30 seconds left here in the state championship game. South Lakes High School is going to celebrate.
Mike Desmond getting congratulated by his assistant coaches as he's going high-fiving his whole bench.
Big boy just chest bumped Desmond. Billings chest bumped Desmond.
Desmond will feel that tomorrow, but right now it's the adrenaline rush.
Yeah, he won't feel it now.
Great moment. 4 seconds. And that's it. The South Lake Seahawks put it in the history books. State champions. 65-39. What a performance. Look at Billings leading the charge there on the dance.
Think they're enjoying this moment? I would say so.
I love it.
Well, Andy, I have to give Coach Young credit. I took Page in this game. He had South Lake 65-60. He got the South Lakes part right, but their defense blew us away today.
They held them way down. I would have never thought in a million years 39 points. That team Patriot is very good. Again, people, nothing to be ashamed of. No, you didn't lose by 2 or 3, but it doesn't matter. You were here. You gave your effort. The ball didn't drop today.
Coach, I'm going to share something with you that I noticed in the pregame. It was really interesting to me. I was watching the coaching staff for South Lakes and the players. Everybody was clapping, upbeat. After every layup, everybody was high-fiving. Everybody was doing it. It didn't matter who you were on the team. The coaches were high-fiving you, hugging you. Bottom line is we're here together. Let's go get this done. It was the most team-specific excitement I've seen here so far this week at the Siegel Center, and they played that way the entire day. Kudos to Coach Desmond and the coaching staff. It's not just the head coach, the assistant coaches, also a big role here in this development of this team. But the positivity and the excitement together before the game was infectious. They were all into it together, and that's the way they played here today. So pretty exciting day for the Seahawk fans. Great environment, great culture that they've built, and a pretty neat finish here to a season that finishes with 19 straight, correct?
18 straight.
18 straight, yeah. So you gave them the win already when you said that.
Heck of a run for them with 18 consecutive games won, and so many contributors from Tyler Andre and Sol Vita to Aiden Billings and David Rochester. Brian Kennedy was stupendous, but tell you what, Jordan Scott, he's special, folks. He's going to be a player to watch for another year at the high school level, and then in college he could do some special things as well. I mean, 23 points through 3 quarters of play. That was half of the production, but Eddie did it on 12 shots. Efficient basketball today.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He could have had more shots, but again, they had enough firepower elsewhere that he didn't have to take 25, 28, 29 shots.
So we're awaiting the championship trophy presentations. And we'll join the PA announcer for that. We'll start with the state runner-up, the Patriot Pioneers. Seahawks with a championship in the books. And they'll get a chance to pose for that photo that'll go up to the school and be there forever. Congratulations to Coach Desmond and his staff. 65-39 dominant performance today from the Seahawks. And the crowd here, the whole thing was a perfect day for South Lakes High School. So with that, we will step away and sign out. I want to thank our production team, Helene Shane and Tim Blank, along with Ryan Duggerda and Jack Lowe. For Coach Ed Young and Matt Hatfield, I'm Andy Hayes, saying see you next year for the 6A state championship. The Seahawks win it and bring it back to Reston, Virginia. We'll see you next time on the NFHS Network.
He's going to take it himself for a championship. A double play wins it from Frazier.
Turn it to the end zone. What a catch. Micaiah touchdown.